Hi everyone, welcome back to my number sense series. Today's video is going to be another video in our fractions mini-series, this time on multiplication and division. So 2 over 15 times 3 over 8. Now we could use the typical fraction multiplication and just multiply the top and multiply the bottom and then simplify, but here and oftentimes it's easier to simplify and then multiply. For example, here we can notice that 3 and 15 can cancel out, right? 15 is 3 times 5, so we can just write 5 here, and this is, a 1. 2 and 8 cancel out. They make 1 and 4. So really, instead of doing 6 over 120, we can just cancel out these two, and we can say, oh, it's 1 over 20. So that is, just a very basic example of fraction multiplication. But of course, it's not always going to be, as simple as this. For example, sometimes they're going to throw in integers. And if you've never seen this before, you might kind of panic suddenly, because how do you multiply a fraction and an integer? Well, they're not so different, because you can write an integer as a fraction. For example, 2/3 times 18, instead of writing 18, you can just write this as 2/3 times 18 over 1, because 18 over 1 is just 18 divided by 1, which is 18. So, fraction multiplication, wait a second, you can still cancel. 18 and 3, 6. Never do bigger multiplication than you have to. 2 and 6, that makes 12. Very easy. Now, you might also have mixed fractions. And there is generally where you kind of have to just convert, right? Just convert to a improper fraction, or just, like a over b without this integer thrown in. So 4.5, what is that? 4.5, well, that's 4 plus 1/2, right? 4 is how many halves? That's 8 over 2 plus 1 over 2, which is 9 over 2. So it's 1/3 times 9 over 2. Wait a second, we can still simplify. That's 1 times 3 over 2, which is going to be simply just 3 over 2. Or 1 and 1/2 if they want it in a mixed fraction. Now, we can also, of course, do division with fractions. And if you don't know how to do division with fractions, it's pretty easy. To divide a fraction, you simply keep this one, flip this one, and then multiply them. Mathematically, what we're actually doing is finding the multiplicative inverse. Dividing by a number is really just multiplying by its reciprocal, if you remember that term from one of our very early videos. 4 over 5 divided by 16, that's like 4 over 5 divided by 16 over 1, which is equal to 4 over 5 times 1 over 16. And of course, don't forget to simplify, and that's going to be, again, 1 over 20. Now, last problem, we can of course divide an integer by a fraction. And here I would say it's even easier, because it's still an integer. You keep the integer and you flip the fraction. So keep, flip, and then multiply. So it's going to be 16 times, this flip is 5 over 4. Once again, remember to always cancel, and that gets you 20. So that is just a very basic video on how to multiply and divide with fractions. Hopefully that helps some of you who aren't too sure on multiplying and dividing with fractions, because this is an absolutely crucial skill for not only number sense, but mathematics beyond. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.